boys and girls of grade 5, and welcome to our third lesson in social studies. I'm your teacher, Miss Melissa, and today we'll be looking at drugs. What comes to mind when you think of the word drugs? Some people associate drugs with only marijuana or cocaine. But let me tell you a little more about drugs. Drugs are chemical substances that can change the structure or function of the body and mind. Therefore, drugs change how the body works. Drugs can either be harmful or helpful. Drugs may come in various forms. Let's look at some examples. A drug may be a tablet or pill, which is usually solid. Take, for example, Panadol. Drugs may also take the form of capsules, which usually have outer shells with liquids on the inside. For example, cod liver oil capsules. Drugs may also be in the form of gummies. For example, children vitamin chewables, and children love to eat those. There may also be creams or ointments, such as antibiotic ointment. Drugs also come in the form of liquids. For example, solutions, suspensions, or syrups. A drug may even be a gas. For example, oxygen. When taking drugs, they can be swallowed, injected, inhaled, or rubbed on the skin. But let's take a closer look at helpful drugs, and that will be our focus for today's lesson. So what are helpful drugs? Helpful drugs are called medicine. These drugs can be used for curing, treating, or preventing diseases, and they help the body to work better. These medicines are used when we are sick to help us feel well, since they kill germs and bacteria that may try to harm us. They usually come with special guidelines or instructions on how they should be used. Helpful drugs are beneficial, but they sometimes come with side effects. So what is a side effect? A side effect is an undesirable physical symptom caused by taking a drug. They are also known as adverse events and are unwanted or unexpected events or reactions to a drug. Side effects can range from relatively minor or mild symptoms such as drowsiness or an upset stomach to serious effects such as liver damage or heart attack. For example, the common COVID-19 vaccine Pfizer has side effects such as fatigue, headache, body aches, chills, and fever. Boys and girls, it is therefore important that helpful drugs are used correctly, since if misused, they can harm the body. So, if a person overdoses, it can lead to death. Did you know that there are 2 types of helpful drugs? Well, let me tell you. The 2 types of helpful drugs include prescription drugs and over-the-counter drugs, or OTCs. Prescription drugs. These are drugs, as the name suggests, prescribed by a doctor. These drugs usually legally require a medical prescription to be dispensed by a pharmacist. They prescribe and are intended for use by only one person. Examples of prescription drugs are depressants, suppressants, antibiotics, or strong pain relievers. Let's take a look at this prescription. As you can see, there is a particular name. There's the person's address, their age, gender, and the date the prescription was written. The particular medicine, along with how it should be used, is also included. This prescription is to be used only by the person that is named above. So let's move on. What about OTCs, or over-the-counter drugs? These drugs do not require a doctor's prescription. They can be bought off the shelves of stores, shops, and supermarkets. They are safe and effective once you follow the instructions on the label. Examples include cough syrup, Panadol, or NyQuil. So let's move on to how we use medicine correctly. Firstly, they must be kept out of the reach of children. We should read the labels of medicine correctly and use the given dosage by following the instructions on the label or those given by the pharmacist. Let's take a look at this label. There's a section there for the uses. This medicine is used for headache, common cold, and muscular aches. Further, there are some warnings that we should follow. For example, we should not take more than 8 tablets in 24 hours. There's also a section for an allergy alert. It is also stated that we should not use this medicine for more than 3 days for fever unless directed by a doctor. Boys and girls, reading a label is very important since it prevents us from misusing the medicine. Let's look again. The label even has directions. It says that adults and children should take 2 tablets every 4 to 6 hours as needed. There's other information as to how this medicine should be stored. It is very important that we should read our labels. Let's move on. In addition to our previous tips, we should be aware of the side effects of the drug. Do not share prescription medicines with others. Also, ensure that you are not allergic to the medicine. So we have learned quite a bit about helpful drugs. So let's recap. Remember, drugs are chemical substances that can change the structure or function of the body and mind. Drugs come in various forms and can enter our bodies by swallowing, injecting, inhaling, and rubbing on skin. Drugs may be harmful or helpful. Helpful drugs are called medicine and they help us to feel well. However, these drugs must be used correctly so that they do not harm the body. Helpful drugs may be prescription or over-the-counter drugs. And finally, when using helpful drugs, it is important that we follow the guidelines. Boys and girls, we've learned quite a bit about helpful drugs today. Be sure to revise your notes and do some more research. At our next class, we'll be looking at harmful drugs. It was nice being here with you. I'm your teacher, Miss Melissa. See you at our next lesson.